Rarely have I been confused for a fashion plate by any stretch of the imagination, but I do know how to dress the part in order to be able to put myself in position for success. So today we're going to talk about 4 key tips to allow you to put yourself in position by dressing for success. Like many job seekers, particularly if you're trying to move into a professional environment from one that's been a little bit more relaxed, you might think looking good on paper is all that really matters, especially with internet applications becoming the norm and COVID 19 creating Zoom type interviews. Well, your appearance in person affects whether or not you land an interview and later a position as well. Recognize that employers now will do a little bit of cyber stalking, look at pictures of you online, and particularly if you're connected in LinkedIn or some of the other professional social media areas, the presentation that you make in those photographs as well as in person are going to be critical in getting them to feel comfortable with you as part of their team. A firm handshake is always going to be necessary when you meet someone in person, but that's only the start. In order to succeed in your career, you've got to dress for success and act like a professional every step of the way. And so here's 4 key tips for dressing for success. And again, some of this is going to be geared more toward guys, some of it's going to be geared more towards women, but at the end of the day, the 4 kind of overarching themes I'm going to mention are ones that you should keep in mind regardless of how your preferred dress style is. The first one is be modest and classy. It's hard to impress a potential employer if they're uncomfortable. So make sure you dress modestly for your interview and avoid wearing anything that's too revealing, like low-cut V-necks, miniskirts, or any of the heavy-duty jewelry, whether that's for men or for women, that could be seen as either suggestive or flamboyant in a less formal setting. Avoid wearing anything too low cut or tight. Your shirt should show very little cleavage or chest hair, and if you wear a skirt, it should be conservative in length, so below the knees, mid calf. It's okay to wear a skirt without stockings, but it might make sense to throw some on if you're uncertain of the culture in the office. At the end of the day, what we're trying to do is match the culture of the office we're going into. And that brings us to number 2, which is, if in doubt, overdress. If your coworkers wear casual attire, that's going to be their choice. And certainly as you begin to get more comfortable in the environment and are more accepted, it's going to be easier for you to relax your dress a little bit. But if in doubt, overdress. It's likely that underdressing, so dressing too casually, will hold you back from advancing further or receiving promotions. It's good to be able to stand out in a positive way by overdressing a little bit for the job. If possible, take note of what your manager wears and your manager's manager, and try and style your clothing according to their level of formality so that you stay professional and also, not mirror them. Maintain your own sense of flair and fashion, but be at about that level of formality so that you blend in. Again, people will promote people they like, and part of that is kind of meshing with the tribe that they belong to, and some of that is how you dress. The way you dress can make or break the impression your employer has of you. If they see that's what's on your back matches up with the corporate culture, it can reflect pretty positively on how they treat you and view you as an employee. If you want to be a successful professional, it all starts with the way that you come off in your initial impressions, and that's going to be your appearance, your tone of voice, and that initial 3 to 10 seconds of impression that you make at the time of an interview or at the time of a meeting with a client. It's not just about your work ethic. And in a lot of cases, it takes a long time for them to get to know you as a person and get to know your work ethic and get to know your work style and your work quality. But it only takes seconds for us to get that initial impression based upon how we present ourselves. And so both quality and appearance are critically important to career success. But going into an interview in particular, or into a client meeting where it's a relatively, quick decision-making process, it's best to be able to match those around you, and that will stop them from noticing how you look and allow them to focus more on your skills. Number 3 is don't forget about the shoes. First and foremost, make sure your shoes are clean and polished if appropriate and suitable to the outfit you're wearing. Dirty tennis shoes with a suit doesn't work well. It might be trendy. It might be something that you can get away with once you've been working at that location for a little bit, but going into an interview, make sure your shoes are clean and polished and that they match your attire. Solid color shoes are standard. If you wear heels, keep the heels under 4 inches so that you're not towering over or drawing too much attention to your shoes. Avoid patterned, glittery shoes with all the bells and whistles that distract from your professional image. Conservative is going to be best in almost any attire. And then number 4, don't forget about basic grooming. When entering a business, it's important to look like you belong. That means your hair should be cleaned and groomed. Your fingernails should be clean. If you use fingernail polish, it should be tasteful and muted, not garish colors. Also make sure that body odor, cologne, perfume stay under control, because no one wants to be sitting next to a stinky, smelly neighbor all day, even if you think it smells good. For men, get a haircut regularly and comb your hair every morning before you go to work. Shave your face, wash and trim your fingernails, and make sure that you've got a clean-cut look. Again, the more you distract from your appearance, or the more your appearance distracts the interviewer, the less they're going to focus on your abilities and the more they're going to focus on your appearance. So take the appearance piece out. Ladies, a little hairstyling goes a long way in making your outfit work. So make sure your hair is well done as well. Of course, when makeup is concerned, less is more. Make sure that you have that conservative appearance that folks are going to be expecting in their office. Again, at the end of the day, there's an opportunity for you to be yourself, and you might rail against a lot of what I just said and say, that's not me. I'm not able to be myself if I have to, wear these, suits, and I've got to have, close cut hair, and I've got to, stay clean shaven and all those other things. And again, these are guidelines. But what I would tell you overarching are the 4 key components. Be modest and classy. If in doubt, overdress. Don't forget about your shoes, and don't forget about basic grooming and cleanliness that are going to get you from here to there. This isn't to say that you shouldn't be yourself, but what it does say is the more your appearance distracts from your ability because you've decided to make your appearance a hallmark, or you've decided to show your individuality by how you look, it's going to detract from showing your individuality by how you perform. You're going to be able to slide over into a little bit more aggressive look once you've demonstrated your performance. And again, this is geared predominantly for those going into interviews where you don't know the person on the other side of the table. You may not have a great read on the culture of the organization you're going into, and you're looking for a position. So it's going to be a good opportunity for you, if you are really wanting that job, to follow those 4 steps and make sure you're in best position to be able to decide whether that culture fits for you or not by having a job offer that you can accept or reject, rather than being rejected out of hand because they feel you don't fit the culture. Again, if everything looks good, don't be afraid to step out into something a little bit more daring later. But starting off, Stick to those 4 basics. Be modest and classy. If in doubt, overdress. Don't forget about your shoes. And don't forget about basic grooming. It's going to go a long way to putting you in position as you drive to FI. Until next time.